This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Promises Behavioral Health. If you're struggling through the pains of alcohol or drug addiction or a mental health disorder, now's the time to seek the help that you need. Let this be an opportunity to get back on track and get back to finding the real you. One of the things I struggled with for a long time is I thought I was alone in all of this. And let me tell you, you're not alone. I can promise you that. And Promises Behavioral Health is here. They can help you with that. They can help you with so many different things that you're struggling with. Now, we've worked with Promises for years. We know their teams personally. We have great relationships with Promises. And most importantly, we trust them. And so can you. That's why we partner with them. To learn more about Promises treatment options for you or your loved one, here's what you can do. You can go to promisesbehavioralhealth.com/sober-guy. That's promisesbehavioralhealth.com/sober-guy. Or you can just pick up the phone and call 888-205-1890. That's 888-205-1890. Tell them that you heard about them from That Sober Guy podcast.
That Sober Guy podcast contains adult content, merciless truth, and emotional nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm Shane Raymer. You're listening to That Sober Guy podcast, and we help dudes stay sober. If it's your first time listening, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here today. If you've been listening for a long time, welcome back. Good to have you here. Thanks for contributing and being a part of my own recovery journey, staying free from alcohol. It's a beautiful day here in Northern California. The sun is out. Been on my walk today. Got rolling, and now I'm going to get to talk with a great guy today, Rashad Walser. And he's doing some great things in the recovery world. He's a father of two. He's 4 years free from alcohol and drugs. He's the author of a recovery memoir, and we're going to get to that a little bit throughout the conversation. And he's also a certified recovery support specialist and works as a recovery care manager in Connecticut. And Rashad loves fitness. And man, if you check out his Instagram, you will see that dude is shredded. And he loves music, acting, yoga. We chatted very briefly before we started. He just got finished with a nice meditation session, which you know that we highly recommend here on Sober Guy. Prayer, meditation as a part of just a better spiritual lifestyle. Man, and he's just passionate about helping people that are struggling out there, and that's why we had him on the show today, and we're really excited to talk to him and learn more and hear more. Before we get to Rashad, you can find all our resources, like our free 10-day guide to help jumpstart your life without alcohol, our 30-day Quit Drinking Dude Challenge. You can also join our Sober Guy Men's Crew, a bunch of good dudes on our locals platform, the Sober Guy Men's Crew, just staying sober, connecting, and building relationships, keeping themselves accountable. So that's on there, as well as more podcasts, meetings, and lots of good resources. And you can get all that by going to thatsoberguy.com. That's www.thatsoberguy.com. Now follow us on Instagram at That Sober Guy Podcast. All the links from today's show will be in the show notes. And man, without further ado, Rashad, man, it's so good to have you on the podcast today. Thank you for following That Sober Guy and reaching out to me. I know we've had this on the schedule for a couple of months now, dude. It's just great to connect, dude. How are you?
I'm great. It's great to be on here. Like I said before the show started, I've been a fan for years. I've even used your podcast as a group note or a group tool in order to get my clients motivated and excited about recovery. Yeah. And it's like I'm so nervous to be on here. I'm so excited. I'm ready to go. Like, I listen to so many of these. I'm like, I know what to expect them with.
Oh man, that's so awesome, bro. Like sometimes I just I'm so blessed, man. Just to I don't even know how the hell this podcast started, to be honest with you, man. It's just it started, and we get to talk to so many awesome people and just put some good content out there, bro. And you're a part of that today, man. And I can't wait to hear more about your story. I mentioned your book, and I specifically skipped over the title, not because I forgot what I confirmed your last name, made sure I was pronouncing that right, and I forgot to do the book. And so I just figured, you know what, I'll just let Rashad do it. So tell us a little bit about the book, just a brief overview, and we'll dive into it a little bit later on in the conversation and go deeper. But when did you put it out? What's the name of it? What's the basis of it?
Yeah, so first of all, it was hilarious because I knew that's why you skipped it.
Okay, good.
For everybody who doesn't know, it's because it's kind of hard to pronounce. And it's funny because I kind of regret naming it that because of that. And it's hard for people to understand what it means, but it's actually Sui Generis.
Got it. Sui Generis.
Yeah, and it's Latin for unique. And,
Love it.
I mean, it has a description at the bottom. It's a long definition for unique, basically.
Yeah. Nice, man. And when did you write it and put it out?
All right, so I got out of my last rehab July 2018, and I started writing maybe 9 months after that.
Nice. So it's still pretty fresh.
Yeah, so I had gotten out of rehab with 4 months clean, and I didn't come out about my recovery publicly until I got 6 months because I actually felt like I was on a roll and I'd be able to maintain my recovery.
Yeah.
And then once I hit that like 9 month mark, I started planning on writing a book, and I decided I wanted to start it at a year because I felt like I'd have enough recovery in order for me to maintain it. Like I said before, with coming out about my recovery, and so I planned on starting it from a year and just journaling my whole second year of recovery,
Nice.
all the ups, the downs, the difficult times, the losses I've had, the wins, and how I coped with everything through my second year while still trying not to drink and do drugs.
Got it. So, I mean, it's basically, it's a recovery memoir then, right? Is that how, I mean, somewhat that you could sum it up in some sense. So your experience, your time, especially too, like 9 months out, that's still pretty fresh. Like, getting on track. And I love that because I think that's some of the realest stuff you're going to find right there, So, go ahead. Did I,
1 second, I gotta get this cat upstairs. It's making so much noise.
I love it, man. Speaking of cats, cat stories. Everyone's like, oh God, another cat story. But dude, our damn cat keeps bringing lizards in the house. And so I'm sitting, like, we're in the hallway the other day. I'm telling a cat story, Rashad, real quick, just in honor of the cat. So my daughter has a Siamese cat, and there's two funny things about this. Like, the first thing is I tried to like bow up like a year or 2 years ago, and my wife and my daughter were like, yeah, we're going to get a cat. And I was like, you know what? We're not getting a cat. This is, like, I'm the man of the house, and I say, and sure. Yeah. Okay. And then guess what? A week later we had a cat. So it really goes to show who's in charge. And so the cat grows on me, right? I actually really like the cat, Siamese cat. Cool cat. But man, she's been taking lizards in the house. So I found four alive lizards at different times throughout the house. Like, I went in the bathroom the other day and there's a lizard just sitting on the rug and it's alive. She brings them in alive. And then, so I go to catch it. I've done it 3 other times, like with a mason jar, and then I put it outside. And, this time I went to catch it and it darted underneath the cabinet in my bathroom, in the downstairs bathroom. And it went up in it. And so I couldn't get it. And I'm like, oh man, dude, now we got a live lizard like running around. So I was literally stalking that bathroom like for like 2 days, like looking in there, seeing if it came out. And finally yesterday I found it on the floor right where it went up in. It was just chilling. So I went over there and I grabbed a broom and scooped it up and ended up getting it outside. But anyways, crazy cat story why you regulated on your cat. So good stuff. How many cats do you have? Just one?
Just one. Yeah.
Okay,
My girl's trying to get another one, but I'm like you, I was reluctant at first, and it's growing on me. And I don't know if the second one's gonna grow on me. I don't know if I want it to grow on me.
It probably will. If you sound like you like animals, so I mean, I'm the same way. I'm a big softie for that kind of stuff. So, but yeah. So, anyways, we were talking about the book, and we can dive into that a little bit later on because I'm sure a lot of that has to do with your story too. I want to talk about fitness and recovery too. I know that's a big part of your program. But before we kind of dive into that, I just want to hear, just give us a good overview, man, of kind of what your life has looked like, and where this whole recovery thing came from, and where it's brought you today.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I look back at my life, sometimes I feel like it wasn't that hard. But when I tell people what I've gone through, they look at me like I'm crazy and they can't believe I'm alive. So I was born in Britain, Connecticut. My father's from Hartford, Connecticut, which is a rough city in Connecticut. My father was a drug dealer. My mother got with him in like the beginning of his drug dealing, and as he rose and got more money, it became more dangerous. He got shot a bunch of times, and house got robbed and raided when I was little.
Wow.
And my kind of like insecurities and abandonment started around 5 years old when they raided the house. My father got arrested, got taken away. After he got out of jail, he moved to California, and that's kind of like where I started feeling something missing, in my life.
Yeah.
And my drinking kind of started early, and I really had no choice. Like I really had no chance to begin with, because starting at like 3-4 years old, my father would throw like these little parties where everybody's sniffing coke and drinking, and he'd think it's funny to come give his son a few sips off of a beer.
Damn.
And that was kind of fairly regular, or even if he wasn't looking, I'd run and grab a beer and take a few sips off of it. So this is like 3, 4, 5 years old. He went to jail, got out of jail, moved to California. Like I said, he lives down in San Diego now, and I got siblings and family down there. But I would go out there every other summer to go visit and just hang out with my father, Mm-hmm. And that first summer I got out there, I was 8 years old, and our bonding was drinking. He got me really shit-faced at 8 years old.
At 8 years old? Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was 8 years old. It was some Hennessy and Pepsi. I'll never forget it. And that kind of started the craving, and because I felt like I was home when I got drunk. Like I didn't realize that I was even drunk. I just like was comfortable, and I was happy with my dad because I had so much resentment towards him up until that point. So it was like it became regular. Every time he'd go to the store, hey, Rashad, you want a beer? Of course, my dad's gonna ask me if I want a beer. I don't care how old I am, And it started there, and then it was every summer when I would go see him, I'd drink. And by the time I hit 13 years old, I was in the projects. I grew up in the projects. I was hanging with a bunch of people that were older than me, and they all began drinking, like 16, 17. I'm 13, 14, hanging with them. And that's when I began drinking every weekend. So I started drinking like an adult very, very early, every weekend. And even in ninth grade, I would bring liquor to school. I drink maybe 2 days a week during the week, and every weekend for parties up until senior year. And it was just like 3 times a week during the school week. And I was smoking weed every single day. Go to school before my first class, I go smoke weed, and then I would skip and leave for lunch and go smoke weed and come back. Somebody would have a bottle or drink, and it started becoming fairly regular. I graduated in 2009, and a year after that is when I started doing hard drugs. I was around the wrong people. Cocaine came out one night. I tried it, didn't really like it. But then somehow a year later, I found myself at a lot of parties where people were sniffing coke, and I was drunk. And so I'm an alcoholic, and everything that I've done stemmed from drinking. So like I'd be drunk, I'd do coke. I'd be drunk, I'd do heroin. I'd be drunk, I'm smoking dust, and I'm taking E-pills, and I'm doing all this crazy stuff. And this is all 19, 20 years old. And then when I turned 20, my son was born. And I moved in with my son's mother. We got an apartment together because she wanted to kind of control my drinking. She realized that it was getting out of control, and it didn't work. I started getting worse. I started to resent her. I started cheating. I feel like I was a horrible, shitty man when I was young, or a boy. I cheated on everybody. I mistreated them. I emotionally abused them. And so my son was born. I cheated on my son's mother. She left me, and I felt like, oh, well, I have nothing left. So the girl that I cheated on her with, I was like, she wants me, so I'm gonna just go with her. So she lived in Arizona. She flew out here to be with me. Long story short, we had a kid. She moved in with me. I destroyed that with my drinking. And by the end of that relationship, I was up to about a handle of vodka a day.
Dang.
And I had already suffered a seizure, and was in a coma for 3 days in ICU at Middlesex Hospital here in Connecticut. And it was bad. So like it was January 2014, December 2013, I got fired from the hospital that I was working at, New Britain General out here in New Britain. And I was supposed to get started at the state. I ruined that with alcohol withdrawals. I didn't go to my orientation. They just canceled my employment immediately. And then that's when downhill spiral started. I went to 12 detoxes in 10 months in 2014. Then my first rehab. And then for another 4 years, I just struggled in and out of rehabs and detoxes, lose this job, that job, stealing from stores, stealing from wherever I can get money in order to support my habit. And I ended up being homeless for 4 years on the couch from my mom's house, from my grandma's house, and whatever female would take me in for the night or the week or forever long I could stay. Yeah. And I managed to have some work in between here and there. And it was just I was very broken at that point. And it lasted for a while. But the crazy thing is, the first rehab I went to, I knew that I wanted to work in this field. I wanted to be in recovery, and I wanted to work in this field because I seen how happy everybody looked and people coming back and serving other people in the same situation that they were in. It was like, wow. And I've never really seen a African-American or Black man like me in recovery. And like those few rehabs I went to, there was a few of them and they were happy and they like had other businesses on the side and they were, it was very inspirational. And I remember saying like, yo, I want to be like that. So I, after maybe a year after my first rehab, after my first rehab, I signed up for college because I wanted to be a social worker or something. I don't know. I drank my way out of that, but I wasn't ready. Wow. And so like I wanted to do that. I wanted to do that. So even while I was struggling, I found myself working in behavioral health. I knew that would be a good road and that would be good on my resume for me to be working in behavioral health and getting the rehab. So I worked at group homes and stuff, and I'd be drunk and drinking the whole shift, sniffing coke with my coworkers and doing just a bunch of crazy stuff. And it ultimately led to 2018, the day before my Eagles won the Super Bowl. I flipped my car over on the highway, head-on collision to cement median. I was in the middle of a blackout. I almost killed myself, but somehow because I put my seatbelt on so regularly in my blackout, I put my seatbelt on and it saved my life. Wow. But I was like seconds away from killing my little brother and whoever else was in the car. I remember being at the gas station, snapping out of my blackout, like, what are we doing? My brother's like, oh, we got a designated driver. I was like, who the hell is that? I didn't even know who it was. Some random person driving my car. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to be here. And I remember jumping in my driver's seat. My brother's like, Rashad, don't do it. Oh, and as soon as I put it in reverse, he hopped out the car. I took off. And not even 5 minutes later, he said there was ambulance and fire trucks headed down the street. And then he talked to a cop and they said that I had crashed. So he called my mom thinking I was dead, screaming like, Rashad's dead. Rashad's dead. His car flipped over on the highway. Oh, and so that was like the turning point. I didn't stop drinking then, but I went on a month-long binge because I didn't have a car and because my Eagles won a Super Bowl. So that was my excuse. Like, all right, we won a Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm celebrating for a whole month. And it just got worse. It got worse and worse. And I got to the point where I would drink and my brain wouldn't send signals to my legs. So I couldn't like move them. Like, not that I was drunk and couldn't walk. Yeah. I couldn't move my legs. Like they were non-functional. So I ended up going to a detox. And at that point, my withdrawals were so violent that I couldn't stay at a detox. So they sent me to Yale New Haven Hospital. And I stayed there for 10 days. They notified me that I had a liver injury. They had to watch and monitor me, make sure I wasn't going to die. I had a crazy hallucination episode while I was in there. So through that whole time, I've been to a bunch of psych wards and ICU and detoxes and rehabs and a lot.
Yeah. I see. I see what folks are talking about when you say, I don't think my life's been that crazy. And then you tell your story and you're like, damn, I mean, that's a lot in a short period of time. Well, I guess relatively short period of time as a legal adult, but like, I mean, you said it went back to being a kid, dude. And it's funny, man, you brought something up for me in that drinking your dad's beer. My dad used to drink Coors all the time. And I remember he would wake up in the middle of the night and he'd crack a Coors and he would drink like half of it. And then he'd put it back in the fridge open. And so I remember being a kid in the morning and going in there and it's just what I saw dad doing it. So I was going to do it, and I would take a couple sips off of it or whatever. But like, dude, those types of things, I'm 40 now and I still remember that. It's still, you reminded me of it, but like, it's still there, And so that type of environment, obviously it's a little bit different or a lot different for everybody, but like it leads in, man, to our adulthood. You know what I'm saying? Like as we get older. But anyways, man, that's insane. And one more thing I wanted to point out that you just said for those out there listening is, you said I wasn't ready. And it's such a simple, 3 words. Like I just had an email from a woman whose daughter is really struggling. Like she's 24. They're trying to put her in counseling and try to get her but they can't get her to do it and they can't figure out why. And it's like, and I know it's so frustrating, but because she's not ready, ready. So unfortunately, sometimes it takes flipping your car and, going through that, like so many lost relationships. And what we're trying to do here, and you and I sharing that, or what you sharing your story, but on this platform today, at least, is hopefully like we can encourage someone else to just run a check and just say, hold on a second. Even it doesn't have to be as bad either. We're not playing the who's worse game. We're just saying like, if you're questioning anything right now, there's an out, there's hope, and there's action that can be taken in resources. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, bro. I'm sorry I interluded there, but I just felt that was important to drop a little bit. So, well, 2 things. If you have anything on that, feel free. If not, man, I would love to just hear what happens next after, you kind of start to come to.
Yeah. So what really kept me down throughout that, up until that point as well, is like, I said, I had my son, and then I had my daughter with the girl that I left my son's mother for. She broke, anyway, that. And she had taken my daughter to Arizona, so I haven't been able to, I wasn't able to see her a lot. So that like kept me crushed for a while. And then it wasn't until I understood and took responsibility for my role and everything that happened that's when I was able to forgive her and myself for everything that happened. And I'm okay with it now. But, so it had gotten up to that point, and, so I was at Yale, and then I checked into a rehab, the Pines over in, Lebanon, Connecticut, where I just previously worked for 2 years. But, I had gone there, and it was a very serene place. And throughout my whole journey of addiction and alcoholism, I always read inspirational stuff. I listened to your podcast. I always had an idea of how I wanted to live my recovery, but I just wasn't sure when I was going to be able to do it. But when it all came together at that last rehab, I took everything that I've learned and I put it together, and I actually applied it to my life. Like I always wanted to before, but I didn't apply it. And it's a place I was able to. It's a huge rehab. It's on an old Boy Scout campgrounds. It's like 6 cabins with a lake and a softball field and volleyball courts and a whole bunch of stuff. So I was able to like be serene there, practice my meditation, practice my mindfulness, because I was never able to do that from the city. So it's hard for me. Where I come from, nobody meditates, nobody draws. Nobody
they look at you like you're crazy, huh? They're like, meditate? Like, what are you talking about? Yoga. Yeah, what? Yeah. My boy Seth is just mad into yoga, man, and he's still he's been trying to get my lady forever. And we've done a couple classes, but she just told me last night, she's like, we're gonna sign up. I said, okay, let's do it, man. But that's like he said it's exercise for your organs. That's the way his mom put it all the time. Exercise for your organs. I was like, dang, that's so good, you know?
You feel it sometimes too. It's like, what muscle was that? That's not a muscle.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was there. Oh man. So what was different for you that time? Because you've been to rehabs before. Like, what do you think changed? Because I know that's what people wonder, like that are struggling too. They're like, man, why can't I just get it? And once again, you got to be ready, but I think it's different for everybody. But what was different for you that time?
Man, I had I felt like I had come to the end of the road. Like it was either I'm going to die at some point. Cause the doctor told me with my liver injury, first they were going to diagnose me with fatty liver disease. And then they went back a few days later and checked, and they're like, no, you just have extremely fatty liver, but you're not going to make it to 30 with the way that you're drinking if you keep drinking the way you are. So that, the fact that I had no car and that was my last possession, it was like I had nothing left. Like I was done. There's nothing left I had. I had a car for 4 years, even after I lost my apartment. I lost 2 of my girls, my kids, everything. And that's what I had left, the car. And then it was gone like that. And then I couldn't work. Yeah. And I think I just needed everything to come crashing down all at once in order for me to just like, it's kind of like that with my life. Like even all through school, if I had a project due, I'm not going to do it to the last day for some reason. Because like I have no choice now, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's where it got to. It got to where I had no choice. I was surviving off of 4 pints to a handle of vodka a day and Xanax in order to try to combat withdrawal symptoms. And then I got addicted to the Xanax as well. And I've been withdrawn off of both, having crazy hallucinations and seizures. And it was just like my family despised me and my kids were miserable. I would still have my kids, but it wasn't quality time. Like they'd just be there watching me really. Yeah. And others would be like, listen, call me if daddy's sleeping or call me if, you know, and,
how old are your kids? How old are your kids?
My daughter's 8, my son's 11.
Oh, nice, man. They're so close to our kids' age. So, dude, like, I just want to point out, bro, like, it's so amazing to see, like, and to hear a little bit about your background, how you grew up, right? Bro, and you're on track to break that curse for your kids, bro. And that's so amazing, dude. I just want to, like, just honor you for that, dude. It's number one. Like, number one. They'll never see that, bro. And you're breaking that. And that's what we need men and dudes to do is step up and just, it doesn't matter where we come from. It just matters where we're going and how we get there. You know what I'm saying? And we can break these curses and addiction and fatherlessness, and whether it's physical or just emotional and mental. Like my dad was there, but he wasn't there. You know what I mean? It was, so dude, I just want to point that out, bro. I love it, dude. Awesome.
Nah, I absolutely agree with you.
So you go in and something clicks, it starts to change. Like, what does that look like when you look back today? Like, where are you at today? Tell us a little bit about where you're at. And then I want to dive into some of this fitness stuff too.
And so upon leaving rehab, my last rehab, I had a 5-year plan and I did everything in my 5-year plan in the first 4 years. So it's going pretty well. And, so, like I said, like, you know, I published my book. I left rehab. I got my recovery coach certificate first. Nice. I've gained a following of people in recovery and people who I inspire, and they reach out to me on a regular basis. And that really means the most to me, that over everything. Like my goal leaving rehab is I wanted to help other individuals. And if I could just help one, then I've done my job, and I feel like I've over accomplished that. And I feel like I have a lot more people to reach. But also I started acting. I started modeling. I'm starting to do music again. I was rapping when I was younger, but now I'm getting back into the music thing. And my goal in the future is to open up a wellness center or something big like that. Like I want to do like a boys and girls club for addicts and alcoholics in recovery, where we can come and just have a good time, you know? Yeah. Because having fun and laughing is a very important part of recovery, or just life in general, a happy, good, sustaining life. But so like I'm doing a lot, and I've always wanted to travel on a regular basis, and I'm kind of doing that now. I'm taking a bunch of small trips. I just got back from New Hampshire like 3 days ago. I was in Philly the weekend before for a 76ers game. Oh, nice. I went to Maryland for my son's flag football tournament the weekend before that. So like I'm just doing a lot of things that I wanted to do, while like things that I thought I would have more fun doing drunk. Yeah, I'm having an amazing time doing sober. I'm doing concerts, I'm doing sporting events, my kids' games, and
it's so possible. It's so possible to have fun without alcohol. Like, you know.
It's crazy. And I work at a rehab, so I talk to my clients all the time, and my biggest message for everybody really is like, life sucks. You just got to accept it. Just fucking accept it. Excuse my language, but accept it. Understand that it's going to suck, and just focus on the good times and the good moments. And every time something bad happens, just know that something good's going to come, and just accept what is. Like, I'm big on not stressing and not worrying about things that aren't here yet. And a lot of people in my life get frustrated with me because I don't have that same alarm that they have when something happens. They're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And I'm like, you know what? We can just chill for now. They're like, what do you mean? How can you be so calm right now? I'm like, well, because what you're talking about is in 2 weeks, and we're here right now. And, you know, we really don't got to worry it's going to affect you physically and mentally, and you're going to be so stressed out for 2 weeks. And then when it comes, it's not going to be as bad as you thought it was going to be. And you just did all that stressing for no reason.
Yep. For 2 weeks.
You know?
I love it, man. I love it. I love the acceptance thing. It's hard. I mean, it's hard for a lot of people. It was hard for me. It still is hard for me at times, but I've gotten so much better at it by practicing, because just what you're saying, something 2 weeks out, it doesn't mean that I'm a lazy ass, and if it's something I need to plan for, I don't plan a bit for, but I definitely don't stress and make up shit in my head that's irrelevant to actually what is going to happen, because I don't know what's going to happen, because it's 2 weeks out and I don't have a crystal ball to be able to tell. So what I do is I put myself in the best position to be prepared, and then I let go of it until that moment comes, you know, and that's one of the best ways to live. It's the easiest way to live, at least.
I think so.
Yeah, I do too. And it comes with work though. It doesn't come easy, but you got to practice.
Of work. And like you said, it's not easy. And I get a lot of people who tell me like, "Oh, it's easy to say that." I'm like, "Yeah, it's easy to say that, but I've done it too." So
exactly,
you can't tell me that.
Yeah. So if we could kind of roll that over actually into fitness, because it's really the same. When you go to the gym, you don't just watch. Like my buddy Phil said this one time, and I know he didn't make it up or anything, but he said, you know, the hardest machine at the gym is the front door. I'm like, yep, pretty much. And dude, you don't just go to the gym and get shredded and get in great shape in a week. Like, you got to put reps in. You got to go when you don't want to go. You got to show up, and you got to still work out when you don't feel like it. And then on the good days, you have those good days where you feel great and you lift a little more than you wanted, or you put in a couple extra reps or whatever it is. But it's a constant practice, and it's the same with being sober. It's the same with being a father, being a husband. Like, it's all the same concept and principles. You know, it all kind of lines up, but I know fitness is a big part of your recovery. So tell us a little bit about that. Yeah.
So, my little tag for people usually is, I don't focus on not doing drugs and drinking. I focus on growing. And that's what the fitness part or aspect of my recovery is. I use it as my tool, you know? So I'm not in the 12-step program, and the gym are my meetings, really. Like, that's what it is. I have a group of people at the gym that we got a sweat check. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, so I don't know if you see my story. We do sweat check, and there's probably about 100 of us. And it just started with me. One of my friends started tagging each other in sweat check to go to the gym, to motivate each other to go. Yeah. And got hundreds of people tagging us, and it's like a little movement now, and it's awesome. That's awesome. That's like the key for me. Like, that's where I stay grounded, at the gym, and then everything else branches off of that. My nutrition, I practice. I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian now, which I kind of hate because I lost a little bit of muscle mass, but it's all good. As long as I'm healthy, I'm good. You know? But fitness is key.
What does your fitness routine look like? Like, what is like a day? I mean, I know it probably it flexes a little bit depending on what you're doing that week, but like, what's a normal day look like?
A normal day, I work second shift, so I wake up, I have a coffee, I watch some fitness on YouTube to get motivated. Go to the gym for about an hour to 2 hours, sometimes 2.5. Come home, have a protein shake, meditate, take a nap, wake up, shower, go to the gym. Go to work.
Go to work. Got it.
my gym routine is it's pretty simple. I kind of kept the basic thing I learned in football from high school and stuff like that. You know, arms, chest, back, core, legs. I do a lot of running. I do a lot of other cardio. You know, burpees and hills, and I play basketball. I play kickball.
You're also incorporating then some things that you enjoy to do that are active, like you just said, flag football. What was the other one? Kickball.
Basketball. Kickball.
Yeah, basketball is a great one. Although my ass always gets hurt every time I play hoop. Like I'll come home and I rolled my ankle. It's like, you're getting old, fool. You need to quit. I don't know what it is. Like, it's always like, last time I heard it, and it's been a couple years now since I even played like indoors, I went up to try to block some dude's shot, and I came down and I landed right on his foot and just rolled it right over, bro. And it was like, it was done for a minute. But I love playing basketball too. It's fun stuff. But my point to that is like trying to get, like, sometimes just running is kind of boring. Like, I like to run sometimes too, but it's nice to incorporate those different things into some activities that you enjoy, you know? Yeah.
And I enjoy the growth process in all of this, in my meditation, in my fitness, in my knowledge of other, because like since I've gotten clean, I've just been studying as well. I mean, I've studying recovery, studying other religions, studying just life. Like I'm trying to get a good worldview.
Yeah.
And it's very eye opening, and I feel like more at ease. I feel more at peace now. Like I'm just like a whole person. I'm just striving to be the best person I could be, the best father I could be, and I'm trying to bring others with me on my journey. You know? Do
you feel like your conscious level has just been like risen, like through like higher? And I'm not saying that in like like, oh, hey, we're better than anyone, or like in an arrogant way. I'm just saying that because I really believe, and you can give me your take on this if you want to, like, I believe that alcohol and drugs are used as a tool to suppress consciousness and to kind of dumb us down in some sense. Why is there a liquor store on every single corner everywhere? Why is alcohol so promoted? And why, you know, like, there's just a lot of questions like that, I think, that I've thought about before. But do you feel like that though, that you're just like, once that you cut that crap out, man, that your conscious just raised?
Yeah. And I'm glad you said it the way you did, because I was going to say, in the humblest way, I'd have to say, yeah.
Yeah.
It's because, like, when I talk to normal people, if you want to call them that, whatever normal is, if anybody is normal.
I don't know anymore, bro.
Right. But when I talk to people about the way that I live and the way that I think and the way that I process things, they think I'm crazy. They're like, that's crazy. Like, how are you not sad about that? How are you not upset? How are you not worried about this? And it's just like, because I get it. Like, I just fucking get it. Like, shit happens and it's going to suck sometimes, and you're just going to have to push through it because there's no other option, you know?
Yep. Yeah.
But I do feel like, I definitely feel a bigger connectedness, like worldly, because of my meditation and spiritual practices. And my awareness is probably a lot higher than,
a lot better, than it was, at least, that's for sure. And like, you have a hunger to learn and grow. Like, that's what's so crazy. Like, cause I got that bug too when I first, and that's how I started the podcast. I mean, there was just this deep desire to like help people and to share and like to like learn, create, and grow. Like like it was like a tidal wave, man. And I love hearing you talk about it, cause it's exciting hearing.
Yo, cause sometimes I sit there and I'm like, God, I'm not doing enough. And my girl's like, hey, you just did a movie. You were just in a movie, and you did this, and you got this, and you got that. And I'm like, but I can do so much more. I know I can. But I just need to, be patient. I think it was Rick Ross that said something like, you don't need to move fast, move careful.
Oh yeah.
So like, I'm really excited about this recovery, and I'm very happy, and I have a lot of peace, and I have an extreme hunger, but I do need to chill out sometimes, because I get over excited, and I sometimes I spread my energy too thin, and I give it to a lot of people who don't deserve my energy. And it still stems from my need to be wanted or liked from
people
childhood.
People pleasing and trying to have everybody be accepting because we want to feel accepted and loved and liked and all that, bro. Yeah, I totally get that. One of the things I wanted to ask about, back to the fitness thing real quick, was, you know, there's a lot of dudes out there. There's a lot of dads out there too. And I'm one of them who our schedules are slammed. Like I just talked to my boy Trent last night, and he coached me in CrossFit for years, and we become friends over the years, and he lives up in Seattle now. But I hit him up and I was like, man, you know, I did a 5x5 recently. I got to kind of the weight I wanted to get to, and it just started kind of taxing on my knees and stuff, and I'm getting older. So I took a little break and just did some cardio stuff. But now I'm like, dude, how do I maximize my time with a busy ass schedule? Like I don't have, like, I'm not on like it sounds like you're on like a swing shift or similar to that. Is that what it is?
Well,
like
I'm on a second. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have some more time in the morning time.
Right.
Whereas like, I don't really, even an hour, sometimes I can't, it's hard to get in an hour, but like 30 minutes. So anyways, long way of asking this. I know I do that shit sometimes. My wife's like, would you get to the point, motherfucker? Yeah, come on, today, Junior.
Today, I watched that movie.
Was that like? It wasn't Happy Gilmore. It was
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison. Yeah, I love that. How does like a dude maximize time and get in a quick workout in like 30 minutes and still be active in their lifestyle? Any tips on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody that's normal that's trying to live to be a bodybuilder. I mean, if you're just trying to build or trying to just live to be healthy and agile and stay mobile and nimble, you know, yoga definitely is a big asset to trying to live or trying to have just a homeostasis type of body, you know, because like you said, it's an organ workout. So it works out your organs and it also works out your muscles. You'll be surprised how much you can sweat during an intense yoga session. But also, I mean, if you get some light dumbbells or some kettlebells, you do some push-ups and light squats. I mean, you wake up in the morning, try to get 100, start with 100 push-ups, not all at once, of course, but try to do 10, and then like just gradually move up from there. And same thing with squats. I mean, you can do jump squats for cardio as well, so you can get a combination workout. You can even do a circuit with just like some curls, do some floor bench presses with the light dumbbells and some burpees. And like I got a little setup right here. I don't know. But I got my dumbbells right here. I got my rollers, my medicine ball, some push-up things. And when I can't make it to the gym, that's what I do. I mean, I just try to work with what I got here. And like you all you need is
the body weight squats and like burpees and push-ups, and then some jogging or like some sit-ups or something. Just keeping the intensity level up though, as much as you can for 15 or 20 minutes. Like I found that to be pretty effective too. You know, if you don't have weights or anything. Yeah,
you do a circuit and like a 20-minute span nonstop. You do like 5 workouts. If you do it quick, you get a great workout, nice pump. You get them endorphins pumping, and you get a little natural high.
Feels so much better too. Like so much better. Like
so like because of my lifestyle, when me and my girlfriend got together, we she's like, "Do you want a girl to be fit like you?" and blah blah. And I'm like, "No, I just want somebody who's open to it." And through osmosis, she just adapted herself to my lifestyle. She's in the gym regular now. She's eating the way I'm eating. And after we leave the gym, she's like, "Oh my God, I feel so good." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, I told you, like, this is amazing. This is the good way to feel. Like, I'm not working out just to look good, although that is a plus. It's the way I feel more importantly, in the way that my brain works after a workout and the way it works on a regular basis, because I work out and there's fresh blood pumping through it. And, you know, it's just like in the way that I think and I meditate and the yoga, it's just like a combination of everything. And I do like to emphasize the fact that I don't use 12 steps, but my program, that it's not really a program, it's just growth. But the 12 steps are just the basis for life. And like I do that in my program. Like I don't lie. When I'm wrong, I promptly admit it. I surrender myself. I understand that my life was unmanageable, and I got a network of people that I reach out to, and I made my I forgot what they call it.
The amends?
Yeah. And I made my amends, and I'm living a better life. And it's just like, if you try to live a good life, you're going to fall in line with the steps regardless.
Yeah. I love that too. And I think that, that goes into that community too. Like, who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you hanging around shitty people? Or I shouldn't say shitty people. I don't even like putting it like that. Are you hanging around people who, I mean, there's some pretty shitty people out there actually, but are you hanging around people who are bettering you or who are bringing you down? Let's put it like that. That's a good way to put it, and it's like, that's a huge part of it, huge part of it. Yeah. So what would you say, okay, if there's someone listening who's like in their early recovery, they're going back and forth, they put a few weeks together trying to get, they're trying to quit drinking and then they go back. What would you say to your old self, like as you were kind of experiencing some of that, like what you knew now, what would you say to yourself then to help you over that?
I'd say just keep going. It's a rough road, but they say the toughest climbs lead to the best views. So as long as you keep pushing through the toughest times, you're going to make it out. And as long as you're striving and you have an idea of what you want for your recovery, and if you really want the recovery, you got to be ready, like I said earlier. But just keep going, man. It sucks, and I've been there before. I cried myself to sleep for days and weeks and months, and couldn't fall asleep from withdrawals, and woke up. I remember nights fighting seizures where I'm just like and I'm just like trying to hold it together because I feel it coming. But just learn as much as you can about recovery. Learn as much as you can about addiction. Learn as much as you can about bettering your life. And I'd highly suggest trying AA or NA because that is where my recovery started. And man, just keep going. Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Tell us a little bit more about the book now, and then where folks could reach out to you if they want to follow you. It's at RillaFit on Instagram. I believe we'll put all the links in the show notes, but if people want to reach out or anything to let us know where that's at.
Yeah. So like you said, Instagram is Rilla_fit, RILLA_FIT. The book is Sui Generis, SUIGENERIS, and that is available on Amazon and Goodreads.com. It was actually the #1 new release in substance abuse when it dropped last year in May.
Nice. Awesome.
You can also reach me on Facebook, Rashad Walser Sr., because my son's a junior, of course. And my YouTube is Lit to Fit, LIT, the #2 FIT. And that's what I use as my YouTube. I got some blogs up there, and I plan on utilizing it in the future for other things that I have planned.
Awesome, man. I love it. Dude, thanks so much for coming on the podcast today, dude. This was fun. And I always love getting the opportunity to meet good dudes like you and then hear some of this. 'Cause I didn't have any idea. So, I mean, I knew a little bit about your background, but, hearing it straight from you, dude, is man, it's intense. It's real. And it's amazing to see where you've came and where you're going to continue to go and grow. And I think it's proof, man, that like we can withstand and we can get through anything, no matter what cards were dealt in life, but we have to choose to do that. We have to take personal responsibility and do it ourselves. It doesn't matter where we come from or, what we look like or it doesn't matter really at the end of the day. It's how we choose to frame that up and move forward, man. And like, you're such a great example of that, dude. Like it's amazing.
I appreciate you, man. And like I said, I'm excited to be on here. I've been listening for years, and I just want to chop it up with you and share my message. That's my biggest point. The reason why I do everything is just to get the light directed on recovery.
Yeah, that's good. Anything you want to leave anyone out there listening with today, like any words of advice or thoughts or anything?
Yeah, so I said it earlier, but my main message in my recovery is it's gonna suck. Life is life. It doesn't change because you got clean, and it doesn't change when you're messed up. It's going to suck, but you got to push through it, and there's going to be good times. And good times don't last forever, and bad times don't last forever. Just push through it and enjoy the happy times. Spend time with the people that you love, and enjoy the moments, because that's all we have.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Thanks for coming on the podcast today, Rashad. I appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you very much, and hopefully I'll be talking to you again.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for listening. I hope something spoke to you today. Share the podcast with a friend. You can follow us on Instagram at That Sober Guy Podcast. And for all resources, you can go to www.thatsoberguy.com. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hope you enjoyed Rashad. Be sure to follow him at Rilla_fit. We'll put all the links in the show notes. Have a great day. Peace, love, and respect. And keep your blood clean.